Hello, this is an overview of RaceJoy, and we will be covering RaceJoy's features, how to get your race set up, and some things that you can do to get the most out of RaceJoy. So let's begin. RaceJoy is a mobile app that is a RunSignUp product. It's an independent product, meaning that any registration or race that uses different registration companies can use RaceJoy. So we're not tied specifically to RunSignUp. However, if you are a RunSignUp customer, you'll see that there's a lot of great integration that we've done with RunSignUp's platform to make things easier for you. And there's some couple added features that you get to take advantage of. And we'll be covering that today. And RaceJoy is independent of timing equipment and so forth. So it is very much a flexible mobile platform that races can use to provide a more advanced experience for, or innovative experience for their race. So let's go over the features. Well, RaceJoy, we really like to say that we're changing the race experience, and that is really our focus. What are things that we can do to improve the race experience from a spectator and participant perspective, a participant and then spectator's perspective. We're exclusively focused on the race experience and on race day for running events and walking events and cycling events and triathlons. So it's all about race day, as you'll see in the features that we'll be covering. It is the most advanced form of tracking that is available in the marketplace today. And the reason for that is that we're using GPS technology and more of a native mobile platform. So we're able to provide real-time GPS tracking of where their exact location is. We do things within the app, and we take advantage of the features to provide more of innovative race operations assistance for the race operations team and for timers. And we'll go into those features today. We also offer powerful sponsor promotion opportunities within the app, and we'll cover those different touch points that you can take advantage of to provide to your sponsors. And we do all of this with a minimal effort on your part and at an affordable price. So there's very little work that needs to be done to be able to provide this kind of experience at your race. RaceJoy has been tried and tested. We've had the product out for more than 4 years, and to date we've had over 300,000 downloads. So the interest that we've seen and the type of profile of race that works well with RaceJoy really runs the gamut. So we've seen races that are more destination races, like the Vacation Race Series that are at the different parks across the country, or if it's a fundraiser such as our a special interest type of focus like the 26.2 with Donna, or even more iconic races like Flying Pig, or our marathons across the country like Glass City. So it really runs the gamut. You know, we do have more usage in the marathons versus, say, a 5K. However, if you have a 5K that is like a Thanksgiving race, or there's some special theme around it that you want to add a little bit more fun or interest around your race or make it a little bit different, then RaceJoy certainly is a fit for that. And we also have races that are more, maybe not races, but events like a bike touring event that's a multi-day course. Those definitely would be a fit for RaceJoy. And definitely ultras, or things that are being on a trail race that maybe a safety concern is an issue. We do have some races that have trail races that actually require their participants to use RaceJoy from a safety perspective. So we'll go through more of how these things are, how they're different for different races with the features. So basically how RaceJoy works is that we transform the person's phone into a tracking device. So that's why we don't need any timing equipment on the course, because we are tracking their phone in relation to your course map. This is not an estimator, so when people are tracking someone through RaceJoy, they're actually able to see where they are on the map, and their blue dot is their actual location. So, and the difference with this is that there's some tracking services available in the marketplace where they'll just show their estimated location on the map versus their actual location. And what they do is they base that on when they cross over a timing mat on the course or their projected pace. Which is good information, but it's not giving them, their actual location. If you're concerned about safety or you want spectators to be able to see where they actually are in the course. And we're able, because of what we're doing, we're able to add different features and things that you could take advantage of. We do use your official race course map, and because of that, we're able to optimize the phone battery, and we also are able to provide highly accurate progress information. And we're typically within 50 seconds of your official race time, so it gives them really good, valuable information along the course and at the finish as to their actual performance information. And speaking of the phone battery, we, on average, our tests have shown 8 to 14 hours of battery life, depending on the phone battery. So on the phone itself. So it really depends if they have a newer phone, and also Android phones the newer Android phones actually last a lot longer. They can go definitely the 14 hours, where the iPhones are more around the 8 hours. We are actually built on a native mobile platform, so that means that versus a web-based mobile platform, and that requires a lot more effort in programming. However, because of that, we're able to do a lot of really great things, like being able to interact, having the spectator and the participant interact real time. We're also able to tie into the hardware features that the phone offers. So it just creates a nice platform for us to do some innovative things through technology. So one of the questions we get is, do runners really carry their phones during the race? And that we definitely it's been proven that they do. And the Running USA actually came out with a study this year saying that 60% of runners are now carrying their phone during the race. And we're seeing that number increase, and we've had plenty of race directors share with us that they think that number is way higher than that. So, and the reason for that is because people are now using their phone for so many different things, and especially when it comes to running, if they're getting, they're using it for music, they're also using it for their pace and other things. So, and they want to be able to take photos along the way. It really is something that they've, as just part of their arsenal that they take with us on running on race day. And likewise in cycling events, it's just something that they pack in the back, or they mount on their on the front of their bike, but most of them just put it in their back for when they're doing a race. So but it's a nice way for people to be able to track them and see where they are. So our features are focused primarily around the participant and the spectator, and what are the things that they want on race day? What are the ways that we can help improve the race experience? And then we take those features and we see where we can bring value to the race operations team, real time on race day. And then having this entirely engaged audience, and a highly engaged audience on race day, makes for a nice platform to provide sponsor value. So we do things. We provide an avenue for you to provide added value to your sponsors. So the key feature for RaceJoy is its GPS tracking. And this is where you track people on a map view, and you track their phones as shown here. These are just examples of what it would look like. And you can track up to 50 people at a time. And this helps connect with the spectators, not only that are at the race site, but also at home and then also abroad. So we'll see on race day that people are tracking people on races across the country and throughout the world. So they have their friends and family. If they can't be there, they're tracking them from other countries throughout the world. So which is really neat. Not only that the race is now able to embrace their friends and family that can't be there at the race site, but also you're expanding the reach for sponsors. So it's providing tremendous value for all parties. The other feature that aspect to this that we're seeing is that race operations are using this tracking ability to track their lead and tail vehicle and other operations. So it could be even your volunteers and so forth. And what you would do is just simply go in and log in as a participant, and then instead of including a name, you would say like lead vehicle or volunteer one, or however you want to label it, and then you can track each other during the event. GPS-based progress alerts are another key feature and an innovation that we launched last year. And what this is that we are sending out progress alerts all along the course based on the person's location on the course map. So we typically send these out at every mile for running and walking events, and every 5 miles, 5 to 10 miles for cycling or ultras. And this is very convenient for the participant because they are receiving these in audio format all along the way, letting them know how they're doing. And then the spectator receives these in, they'll receive in a cowbell alert sound and then an in-app notification like shown in the middle of the screen. So this looks like a text message, but its in-app notification means that we don't have to deal with the text message fees and so forth. And then at any time, someone can go back and look at past progress alerts for a participant, and that's pretty handy for someone that maybe they forgot to go in right away, so they don't have to pre-set up things. As long as the participant is using RaceJoy, they can go back and see, oh, they started at this time, and this is how they're doing. So, and that's what's shown over to the right. So let me, oh, and then the other point is with this screen is to show that for every progress alert that goes out, that's an impression moment for your sponsor. So you could have a title sponsor of RaceJoy, and then for every alert you can say this is brought to you by, what's shown here is Fidelity Bank. And depending on the race, that could be several thousands of impression moments for a sponsor. So if you have a marathon, we're sending out with the start and the finish, we're sending out 28 alerts per participant. So that's a great value for a sponsor. But let me play what it sounds like for the participant.
You are at mile 8. Total time 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. Average pace 9 minutes, 16 seconds. Estimated finish time 2 hours, 1 minute, and 23 seconds.
And then the GPS progress alerts are a nice way to supplement your race timed alerts. So a lot of races will do more the traditional tracking where they're sending out text message alerts or emails and so forth when a participant crosses over the timing mat on the course. And depending on the number of timing mats on the course, this could be a very effective way to do tracking. If you only have a few timing mats on the course, then RaceJoy is a nice way to fill in the gap between the timing mat locations. And it also just provides a little bit more tracking abilities because you're seeing their actual location. So this is just showing how some races have done this in the past. Flying Pig has, does this and also offers RaceJoy. So because RaceJoy is so affordable and easy to use, it's actually just a nice added way to supplement that type of official race timing tracking. And then just to point out, RaceJoy is not intended to replace official race timing. It is simply intended to supplement and fill in the gap and provide a little bit more information to participants and spectators. Because we're using cell technology, it's really never going to replace that hardware on the ground information. However, we do see that there is the vision for RaceJoy is that there is a significant place for GPS time and GPS tracking in the road race industry, and we predict that we will be starting to report out not only chip time, but GPS time, just to provide that additional point of information for our participants. So Send a Cheer is another very popular feature in RaceJoy, and we actually just added this as kind of a nice to have, and it's turned into be much more than we expected. So what this is that we have audio cheer clips pre-loaded in RaceJoy that people can choose from, and they're just kind of created fun things from little music clips to sound bites and so forth. And then they can pick and choose these and send them instantly to a runner or to a cyclist or a walker. And they also have the option to use text-to-cheer message. And what that is that you can type in a cheer, whatever message you want to say to the person, and then it comes out in audio format. So this is very handy if you're on the race site, or if there's something specific that you want to say, like, I'm up on the right, let me take your picture, smile at me, that kind of thing. And this is also very helpful for the race operations team if you want to quickly communicate to someone, so you don't have to use walkie-talkies and so forth. You can just send a message quickly to someone else on the team. So let me play an example of one of the cheers.
Dad, watching you run that marathon was the proudest 2.5 days of my life.
I love you with all of my heart. If I don't see you again soon, I'm going to die.
So you really can't underestimate the power of a motivational moment and just kind of touching base with someone while they're out on the course. I had someone from the Moorestown Marathon contact me this week saying that you know, how much they appreciated RaceJoy, and specifically because this was her first half marathon, and she was really struggling. And around mile 8 and 9, she was really having a hard time, and she felt like she was getting injured, and she was just going to drop out of the race. And at that point, her daughter sent her a cheer in RaceJoy, and that's all it took to get her to finish. And she was just so happy to have this tool available to her. So, you know, you really can't underestimate the value of, you know, just having that support from your family and friends during the race. So MeetUp is an on-site feature in RaceJoy, and what this is that it's a helpful way to locate someone that's at the race site. It's really great for if you have a large venue, or say you're at a place that a location that you're not familiar with. It's also helpful for the race operations team, and then it just kind of shows you here on the map what that looks like. And then Near Me is a very helpful tool for those that are also on the race site. We see relay teams use this a lot, and what this is that they will get a cowbell alert sound along with a pop-up message shown on the left side of the page here, and it'll let them know when they're that someone is coming near that they're tracking, and to get ready for that handoff, or if you're ready, you want to take a photo of them. And it's really great for the large races. I think if anybody's been a spectator or run at a large race, we've all had that moment where someone's missed us. They've come to the race and then they missed us on the course. And this is what this feature was designed for specifically. So, but it's a very handy on-site feature. So another feature that we have that's only for RunSignUp clients that are using RunSignUp RaceDay results. And what this is, it's mobile results are delivered through RaceJoy. So if you're using RunSignUp's results platform, you have the option of having these results delivered through RaceJoy at no additional cost. And this is a very user-friendly tool for people to use to see their own personal result information as shown on the right side of the page, and also in relation to their age group and also overall. So it's a nice handy tool to use. And there's also shown here on the right side, there's also a sponsor promotion moment along with this as well. So those are the features that are really designed for the participant and the spectator. And as you know, I spoke about, there's definitely a number of race operations features within that. There's a lot of things that you can take advantage of to help with the race operations. But we have a few other tools and that I'd like to go through with you. So one of them is our new RaceDay monitoring system, and we're super excited about this, and I know a lot of races are excited about this as well. And what this is that through a web console, you can track all those that are using RaceJoy on your course. So you can see all the runners or cyclists or walkers that are out on your course at any given time. You're also able to kind of manage what you're looking at. So you can see the top runners, the tail runners. You can also see how they're doing. You can click on a person and see what their performance is, which is really great if you're trying to manage things out on the course and see where you can maybe close down things and so forth. We also have an off-course alert system. And what this is when someone goes off course, you'll get an alert. And what's great about that is that that way you'll be able to see if there's maybe a trouble spot on your course, and that you can go out and have someone, manage that people aren't understanding. You can also then see if maybe you need to adjust your course map in RaceJoy. But also, maybe there's an individual that just needs some help, or maybe there's an issue with, maybe someone not having an honest race that day. And we know that that's very important if you have some prize money involved. And in fact, we have a cycling event that's coming up, and they're requiring everyone to use RaceJoy just because they want to make sure that they're doing an honest course. So because of the prize money involved. So it's a very nice feature on multiple points. You can also choose to have this off-course alert system be played to the participants as well. You would just need to get with us, and we'd need to make sure your course is very accurate. And then so that would mean that they would get an alert if they were off course. And that would be really good for maybe ultras and trail running events, or where maybe there's a course that people get confused a lot. So you would just need to let us know, and we'd work with you on that. Another handy feature with this is that you're able to display this screen onto a larger display at the race site. So it gives it kind of a nice interactive type of experience at your race site if you want to show all the runners that are using RaceJoy or cyclists. So another feature that you have with RaceJoy is the ability to send race news alert systems within the app. And these are sent out as in-app notifications. They look like text again, but they're in-app notifications. And these are really handy if you have something highly important to communicate. We do recommend, refraining from doing marketing messages. However, if you have something like a big, you have a retail shop associated with your organization, and you have a big sale, obviously that's something that most will want to know about. So that's a good thing to take advantage of, and maybe use the news alert system for that. We've had actually 2 races so far use RaceJoy to, or actually 3, to help communicate that they had to close the race due to weather. And we have been told by those races that RaceJoy was a very valuable tool for them, because it got the word out not only to participants but the spectators on the ground. It created less confusion for those spectators that weren't there. And they were able to, the spectators or the friends and family on the course knew where their runners were, and they were able to go pick them up right away. So it kind of helped even with the race operations team get everybody off the course. So it's definitely a handy communications tool for you to use. And there's no extra charge for this. It's just part of the package. So some additional race benefits include being listed in RaceJoy. So how this works is that RaceJoy is a mobile app. People download the app, and then they find your race. And then you have a race listing with your logo, a little bit of custom content, and then we direct them to your website. So we really rely on your website is where the content is being managed. Now, if you have a custom race app, if you have an official race app, then this is a nice place to point people to the app. And we've done that for several races. And you can also even add a banner ad saying, download our official race app, so it kind of encourages additional downloads for your app. This is also an opportunity to have additional registration moment with, we have register now banner ads and so forth. If you are a RunSignUp client, you automatically get that registration moment loaded with your race. So that's a nice thing to have. And if you're not a RunSignUp client, just let us know, or you can even add the banner ad yourself, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. The other benefit for races is that as I mentioned before, you now have a new sponsorship opportunity for your sponsors, or for a single sponsor. And let's get into that. So most races will select a single sponsor of RaceJoy and then showcase them throughout with, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest area or the most prominent way to give them exposure is with the GPS-based progress alerts. And this is showing where Shipyard Brewing Company was showcased with the Maine Coast Marathon. And so you can choose to showcase a sponsor or not. That's up to you. The other custom sponsor opportunities are with the linkable banner ads shown on the bottom of the page, where you can say that they've offered free tracking and cheers, and then you can add just kind of a generic sponsor ad as shown with the Starbucks one over to the right. You also have the opportunity to showcase a sponsor with news alerts. We automatically load some welcome and thank you and how to use RaceJoy news alerts, and you can edit those by dropping in a sponsor logo and saying this is being provided by so-and-so. Those are all, things that I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then with the GPS-based progress alerts that are issued, the participant can choose to have those alerts posted to Facebook and Twitter. And at each of those moments, you can then showcase a sponsor. And this is what it would look like. So you can choose to have your race logo as shown here to the right, and most races will just do that. They'll have the race logo, and then they'll say that the alert is being provided by whatever the sponsor is. Now, you may want to have a co-branded logo created as shown over to the left, which we did for Disney and AT&T, and that's also something that you would just load in, and it would appear on their post as they cross the timing, or as they cross the milestones on the course. We also have a button for them to click on that they say, I'm using RaceJoy for this race, track and send me cheers. And that's another moment for them for you to showcase the sponsor. And they do that a lot, and it's a great way to build some excitement around your race. So let's get into pricing, because everybody always wants to know that. The pricing is very affordable, and it really is designed for any race to use RaceJoy or to offer RaceJoy. And it is based on the event size and then also the distance. And if you have a race that is a greater distance of 50 miles, just get in touch with us and we'll get you pricing. Also, if you have multiple races or race series, let us know and we'll get you special pricing as well. For RunSignUp customers, if you are using RaceJoy, you have the option of having the participant pay for the buyout. And that is you can do that by adding on the processing fee of 50 cents per registrant for an event that's 10K or longer, and 25 cents per registrant for events under 10K. And you would just click on this during your setup, and this gets included in their general processing fee, so there isn't a separate line item for RaceJoy. It's just part of the general processing fee. And then you can choose then at that point if you also want to have a sponsor. So most races, if they do the flat buyout that's shown on the upper part of the screen, they will then get a sponsor to cover the cost, and maybe some extra amount with that to cover your administration of RaceJoy and so forth. But you would then have a sponsor cover the cost of RaceJoy and then showcase them in all the ways that we just discussed. And then a lot of the RunSignUp clients that are choosing to do the processing fee model are also giving this as a potential, sponsorship, a title sponsor opportunity for RaceJoy. So it's a nice, additional way to get revenue for the race and to cover costs. Let me go back. And so their setup of RaceJoy is very simple. There's not much that the race actually has to do. So basically, you enable RaceJoy, you purchase the buyout, And really, we need an electronic course map from you, and I'll get into that in just a moment. And then you'll get notified that the race is live in RaceJoy and that now it's time for you to let people know about it. And so you promote RaceJoy, and then we'll do a map recheck with you because we want to make sure that your map is correct. So the success factors for RaceJoy is, number one, we need it to work well. And the biggest thing is to make sure that we have an accurate course map from you, especially that start, the first mile, and the finish. Those really affect how well the GPS progress alerts are going to be working on race day. So if you have changes to the course map, you'll be able to make those changes yourself. If on race day you have some last minute things that that come up and you're not able to change the course map because you're so busy, just contact us and let us know so that we can make the adjustment. The other success factor is letting people know about it. The more they know about it, the more they'll use it. And so these are the top things that we've seen that races do that seem to be the most impactful. And one of them is making sure that you have prominent website presence on whatever your participant tracking is. And if it's clearly even from the home page, like runner tracking or cycling, live tracking on race day, those are the kinds of things you need to make sure that are on your website, and then have a page on RaceJoy. Also, having a dedicated message around RaceJoy sent through email is highly effective. So it's good to put it as part of your overall services if you do like kind of a collective email. However, people are busy and things get lost. So it's nice to have a dedicated email about RaceJoy because this is just so new to some people. And especially the week of the race is the most effective, but it's nice if you can send one out earlier than that. RunSignUp clients have the ability to use our automated emails that we already have programmed and loaded in for you. You would just need to enable those, and then you can adjust the content on those as well. Social media is obviously a good thing to do. The most effective way is through Facebook, doing a post the week of the race. That seems to be the most effective. And using this phone icon that we'll give to you, that is in the promotion toolkit, that seems to be the most effective. We typically will send out a tweet on each race that's offering RaceJoy, so you could just retweet whatever we tweet. And so that's an effective way of doing that. So the way to set up is through either RaceJoy's website if you don't use RunSignUp for your registration, and then if you do use RunSignUp, you can do it straight from your dashboard. So let's go into that real quick. So for non-RunSignUp clients, this is where you would go to RaceJoy's website and then offer RaceJoy. You just click on that and then create a race. And then from this, it's just putting in your race information. It's a very easy tool to use. And you would just add in your race information, your logo, and then you would create the race. And then from there, I'll show you what it looks like because then it ends up looking the same. So this is RunSignUp from a RunSignUp perspective. Say I'm a client of RunSignUp's registration. Then you would go to your dashboard. You click on RaceJoy as shown here, and then set up. And all of your information would already be pulled in. So you don't have to add in your race information as shown on RaceJoy's website. So that's basically the difference in the setup. And your logo will already be loaded in and so forth. So you would just enable those events that you are that you want RaceJoy at. So one of the things that we like to recommend is if you have a 5K and different courses, that we recommend that you have a consistent race experience. So you enable all of your events. We typically don't do the kids races and so forth, but you'll want to enable all of your events so that we encourage satisfaction for all participants. And then you would get the buyout selection, and that's where you can choose to do either a flat buyout or the processing fee model. So you would add that here. Now, if you do if you are not a RunSignUp client, you wouldn't have the processing fee add-on, but you would just do the flat buyout. And then you would add your course map. So this is where we need your course map in an electronic format in either a GPX or a KML file. And then if you're not sure how to do that, we have some handy videos showing you how to do that. If you struggle with this, just send us a link to your course map and we will help you with this. And then if you need to change your course map, this is where you would come back and change it here. Then your custom options. So this is one of the ways that, to get the most out of RaceJoy, you want to make sure you take advantage of these custom options. So your race logo is obviously one of your custom things that you can do. But then your banner ads, this is where you can showcase a sponsor, the race itself, or what have you. And you can change these at any time that you wish. And they're also good if you have a charity event. You can put a donate now. That's really effective banner ads too. And then progress alerts. This is what I mentioned earlier, but you can change these where it's shown in green. This says see Buzz for details, but this is where you can showcase a specific sponsor. And you can say provided by whatever your sponsor's name is. And it's really easy to go in here and just adjust these. So that's for you to do at any time. You can adjust those. And then I think I went through everything here. Yeah. So this is Facebook and Twitter. And then the tools for promoting RaceJoy are found here under the buyout section. So we have a promotion toolkit, and it has all sample content and graphics. Some races like to get race inserts printed, so that's what this is. And then we have some sample content for social media. Some events want to have more of in-depth instructions for how to set up RaceJoy, and that's what this document is that you could add it to your website or email or what have you. And then we have the virtual ad that you can load in, or some sample promotional emails, and also a website widget that you can use. One of the biggest or most helpful tools is this video, a RaceJoy user tutorial that you can load on your website or email. So all of these are designed to help the users of RaceJoy. We really don't get a lot of questions on RaceJoy in general, but these are things. We do have new users to apps in all different ages using RaceJoy, so it's just nice to have kind of some helpful tools out there. And if you get questions on your Facebook or email about RaceJoy and you're not sure how to answer them, just let us know and we'll jump in there and answer the questions. Now, this is one of the tools that I mentioned earlier. As a RunSignUp client, you have the option to manage your emails through here, and you can just enable your emails for RaceJoy, and we have them automatically loaded, designed to go out 2 days prior to the race and 7 days prior to the race, and also upon registration. So you can go through and adjust this to put the drop in a sponsor logo or content about a sponsor. So that's where you would do that. And let's go back here to RaceJoy. Where I was on setup. So then your news alerts, that's where you would go here, and you have two ways to get there, over to the left and then over on the right. But this is where you can adjust and add different news alerts. One of the things that we did for the Flying Pig was we changed their GPS-based progress alerts and these to Pig Alert. So you can get creative around, depending on the theme of your race, you can, the sky's the limit on, things that you want to, messages and ways that you want to express things. That's up to you. So this is what I mentioned before, where you can drop in a logo or say a sponsor is providing this experience. So this is where you could do that. And these news alert systems are very flexible in their formatting. So you can put images, you can put videos, whatever you'd like in there. one of the things that you want to be aware of is that there's along this, and even if you're not using RunSignUp, this is exactly how it will appear to you as well. So you can look at your usage here. Let me go to this year's to show you. And this is a nice something that you can capture, a screen that you can capture and share with a sponsor as well. But this shows you the number of participants and spectators. It also shows you the number of actual phones tracked. And then at the Madison Marathon, which actually happened this last week, they had over 37,000 progress alerts go out, and that's a lot of exposure for a potential sponsor. And then shows you how many Facebook and Twitter tweets that went out, and then the number of cheers. So they had a lot of good activity at this race. And I think that was, and then the monitoring. This is where you would go to monitoring on race day. And there's a helpful little video on how to use this system, but it's pretty easy to use. We are in beta, so if you have any suggestions around this tool, just let us know. Okay, and this is what it looks like on the race day. You can see, I'm kind of zooming in and out here, but the course map would appear here, and you would be able to, it's showing my actual location here. It's just not loading in that correctly right now. But this is where you can see people on the course map, and then you can, it's because I'm on the wrong race day, but, and then you can also adjust the course map quickly from here, and also look at your usage. You can send a news alert if you've got something urgent going on, and this is where you would click on the full screen to display it on a larger screen. So I think I've covered everything with that. Let me go back to the presentation. So that's basically all I wanted to cover today. I hope that you have found this helpful. This is actually a recording of a webinar that took place on November 16th. And I believe I answered most of the questions as I was talking throughout this recording. So if you have any questions, though, please contact me personally, Shelly Harris, and it's shellyharris@racejoy.com. And I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And I just wanted to mention we have some upcoming webinars. We have a new release of RaceJoy coming out that we'll give you a sneak peek on November 30th. So please join us for that. And also, RunSignUp has a number of informative webinars coming up. And if you're not a RunSignUp client, I would suggest or encourage you to attend one of their upcoming webinars. They actually have a lot of innovative tools that can help races, even if you're not using the registration platform. But it also is good to know because they do a lot with technology to kind of move along the industry. So it's good to know what the most current innovative tools are available in the industry. So thank you so much for joining me today. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Bye.